Hello everyone, welcome to a new session on control systems. So today we will take up the design of a lag compensator using Bode plots. Lag compensators are used to improve the steady state performance or the steady state error requirement. We know that any response consists of two parts. One is the transient part and the other one is the steady state part. So a lag compensator is supposed to improve the steady state part without affecting the transient part appreciably. So today we will see how we can design such a lag compensator with the help of Bode plots. So let's begin. So lag compensator. Okay. Any lag compensator has the general form of GC of S equals S plus ZC divided by S plus PC. Okay, ZC is the compensator 0 and PC is the compensator 4. Right? So if you see the pole 0 map of this compensator, it will be like this. Here will be the compensator pole, and to the left side of the compensator pole, we have a compensator 0. Why is it called a lag compensator? For example, take a point here, okay, point A. What will be the net angle at this point? How will you find that? You join this point with the pole, with the compensator pole and compensator 0. What is this angle? This is theta 1. To be more precise, it should be minus theta 1. Why? Because this is the angle contributed by a pole in the denominator. And this is theta 2. Because this is positive. Why? Because this is the angle contributed by a 0, which is in the numerator. Okay. So pole angles are always negative, whereas the 0 angles are always positive. Okay. So what will be the net angle at point A? I can write theta net as theta 2 minus theta 1, which will be less than 0. So the net angle contributed by this compensator is negative or lagging, hence the name lag compensator. Okay, so it is necessary that for a lag compensator, the compensator 0 must be to the left side of the compensator pole. What happens if you interchange the position of PC and ZC? It becomes a lead compensator. Okay, because it will be giving a positive angle or leading angle at any point. Right? So this is the configuration required for a lag compensator. A pole close to the origin of the S-plane and a 0 to the left side of the compensator pole. Okay. Now I will take ZC outside this thing. ZC into 1 plus S by ZC. Okay. Similarly, I will take PC outside. PC into 1 plus S divided by PC. Okay. Now I will define this ZC by PC ratio as alpha, and I will specify that alpha has to be greater than 1. Okay. What's the advantage of specifying alpha greater than 1? It means that it will ensure that always the 0 of the compensator lies to the left side of the pole. Okay, so this condition ensures that always the 0 of the compensator lies to the left side of the compensator pole. Right. Now let me define 1 by ZC as T. Okay, and what will be my 1 by PC? I can write my 1 by PC as ZC by PC into 1 by ZC. But what is ZC by PC? ZC by PC is alpha. So I can write this as alpha. And what is 1 by ZC? It is T. So I can write my 1 by PC as alpha T. So this can be written as alpha into 1 plus ST divided by 1 plus S alpha T. Okay. Now we are going to design it with the help of Bode plots. That means frequency response or frequency domain technique. Okay, so replace S with j omega. So what will be GC of j omega? GC of j omega will be alpha into 1 plus j omega T divided by 1 plus j omega alpha T. Okay, so as omega tends to 0, or when omega equal to 0, what happens? If omega equal to 0, what happens? GC of j omega will be equal to alpha. What does it mean? It means that lag compensator will introduce a non-unity DC gain. Okay, because alpha we have defined as greater than 1. Okay, so it means that the lag compensator will introduce a gain which is higher than 1. Okay, the DC gain will be greater than 1, right? So if you want to nullify that, if you want to make the DC gain to be equal to 1, what you have to do? You have to pre-multiply with 1 by alpha. Okay, so that 1 by alpha and alpha gets cancelled, right? So let us consider such a compensator which gives a unity DC gain. Okay, so GC of j omega is equal to 1 plus j omega t divided by 1 plus j omega alpha t. It's a complex quantity. So what's the magnitude? Root of 1 plus omega square t square divided by root of 1 plus omega square alpha square t square. Fine. What is the net angle? Tell me. What's the net angle? Tan inverse omega t minus tan inverse omega t minus tan inverse alpha omega t. Okay. So border plot consists of two parts. One is the dB gain versus log omega and phase angle versus log omega. So let us see more about the magnitude. Okay. So mode of GC j omega. What is that? That is root of 1 plus omega square t square divided by root of 1 plus omega square alpha square t square. So this is an absolute scale. So how will you find the gain decibels? 20 log. Okay, if you have any quantity A in decibels, that means 20 log A dB. Okay, so 20 log root of 1 plus omega square t square divided by root of 1 plus omega square alpha square t square decibels. Okay. Now, here we have two corner frequencies or break frequencies. What do you mean by corner frequency or break frequency? Corner frequency or break frequency. Corner frequency or break frequencies are those frequencies at which the dB gain plot, okay, the dB gain plot changes its slope. Okay, such frequencies are called corner frequencies or break frequencies. Frequencies at which the dB magnitude plot changes its slope. That frequency is called corner frequency or break frequency. Okay, so here we have two corner frequencies. Which are they? One is 1 by t and the other one is 1 by alpha t. Okay, so omega c1 is 1 by alpha t and omega c2 1 by t. Okay, so these are the two corner frequencies or the break frequencies. Okay, now we know alpha is greater than 1. Alpha is greater than 1 implies what? Alpha t must be greater than t, which means what? Omega c1 must be less than omega c2. Okay, so you can see that the frequency domain is divided into three sections. Low frequency section up to omega c1, mid frequency region between omega c1 to omega c2, and high frequency region from omega c2 to infinity. Okay, in this way the frequency region is divided into three. The low frequency up to omega c1, mid frequency starting from omega c1 to omega c2 region, followed by high frequency region, means starting from omega c2 to infinity. Okay, now at very low frequencies or in low frequency range, that is up to omega c1. Okay, so since frequency is very small, okay, since frequency is very small, what happens here? Say your omega is say 0.01. So omega square means 0.0001. That means omega square t square part is negligible. Similarly, alpha square omega square t square is also negligible. So effectively, this mode GC j omega will be equal to what? Approximately equal to 20 log 1 or 0 decibels. Okay, so in the low frequency range up to omega c1, right? We can say omega t is very much less than 1 and alpha omega t is also very much less than 1. Therefore, our mode GC j omega is approximately equal to 20 log 1 or 0 decibels. So what does it mean? It means that in the low frequency range, up to omega C1, the lower corner frequency, the magnitude plot is a straight line at 0 dB. Okay. Now, in the mid frequency range, in the mid frequency range, that is omega C1, omega lies between omega C1 and omega C2, the lower corner frequency and upper corner frequency, right? So again, what happens here? Omega t will be very much less than 1, but alpha omega t will be very much greater than 1. Okay, so that means, what does it mean? It means that since omega t is very much less than 1, omega square t square is negligible. So this becomes 0, close to 0. And this becomes, in here, 1 is negligible. Why? Because alpha omega t is very much greater than 1. Say, for example, alpha omega is equal to 1000. So omega square, alpha square, omega square will be 1000 square. So that means 1 can be neglected. So our magnitude will be approximately equal to what? 20 log 1 by alpha omega t, or minus 20 log alpha omega t decibels. Okay. Now what does it? What does this represent? This represents a straight line. How come? Straight line with a slope of minus 20 dB per decade. So this is something like y equal to mx kind of thing. What is m? M is the slope. What's the slope here? Minus 20 dB per decade. What is x here? Log alpha omega t. Okay. So it means that in the mid frequency range, the dB gain plot is a straight line with a slope of minus 20 decibels per decade. Okay. Now, in the high frequency range, in the high frequency range, that is above omega C2. Okay. So high frequency range means it is greater than omega C2. So, right? So what happens? Omega t is very much greater than 1, and alpha omega t is also very much greater than 1. Okay. So what happens here? It becomes 20 log omega t by omega alpha t, or it becomes 20 log 1 by alpha, or minus 20 log alpha. So I can write that, I can write like this: mod GC j omega is approximately equal to 20 log 1 by alpha, or minus 20 log alpha decibels. Okay. So from low frequencies up to the lower up to the lower corner frequency omega C1, it is a straight line at 0 dB. Then onwards, it's a straight line with a slope of minus 20 dB per decade up to omega C2. Then what happens? It will be another horizontal line at a magnitude of minus 20 log alpha d. Okay, let us plot the dB magnitude plot here. Okay, so this is omega in logarithmic scale. Fine. This is the decibel. So this is my lower cutoff frequency, omega C1. Omega C1 was 1 by alpha t, right? And this is omega C2, which is 1 by t. Okay, so we are defined like this: omega C1 was 1 by alpha t, the omega C2 was 1 by t. Okay. Now, what's the condition? So in the low frequency region, it is a straight line up to 0 dB. Okay, so this will be the Bode magnitude plot. From low frequency up to the lower corner frequency omega C1, it will be equal to a straight line at 0 dB. So this is 0 dB. 0 dB then. Okay. Then onwards, what will be the magnitude plot? It will be a straight line whose slope is minus 20. Okay. So it will be a straight line whose slope is minus 20. It's a straight line whose slope is minus 20 dB per dk. Okay. Then onwards, what will be the dV magnitude plot? It will be another straight line, horizontal line at a magnitude of minus 20 log alpha. Okay. So here is minus 20 log alpha. From there onwards, during the high frequency region. Okay. So this is 20 log alpha, this magnitude, this difference. Okay, so this will be the Bode magnitude plot for a lag compensator, right? Now what next? This is only first half. What next? Now we have to see the second half. Second half means the angle part. So what was the angle from here? Angle was tan inverse omega t minus tan inverse alpha omega t. Okay? So angle GCJ omega will be tan inverse omega t minus tan inverse alpha omega t. Okay, tan inverse alpha omega t, right? Now as omega tends to 0, what will be the angle GCJ omega? Angle GCJ omega tends to 0. When omega tends to infinity, what happens? Angle GC of j omega will again tend to 0. It is not a constant 0 line. It varies from 0, it becomes negative, it becomes a negative maximum, then it starts increasing and again it converges back to 0. Okay, like this. So I will draw the Bode angle plot. Okay. So this is omega, fine. And this is 0. You can see that at some particular frequency, the lag is maximum. Okay, pi m. That frequency is what I'm denoting it here as omega m. Okay, so omega m is that particular frequency at which the phase angle lag is a maximum. Okay, it can be seen that omega m will be nothing but geometric mean of the corner frequencies. That means 1 by t root alpha. What do you mean by geometric frequency? Your geometric mean means omega m will be root of omega c1 into omega c2. That means root of 1 by alpha t into 1 by t, or you get 1 by t root alpha. Okay, you will see how we are arriving at this value. Okay, so you can see that your lag compensator will give a maximum negative angle at a particular frequency omega m. Okay. Now, how will we find the phi m and omega m? To find, did I mark the axis here? No. So this is angle GC of j omega. Okay. Yeah. So to find omega m, the frequency at which the maximum phase angle phi m occurs. So what is the angle? Angle GC of j omega is tan inverse omega t minus tan inverse alpha omega t. Okay. Now, how can you find the maximum of a function? Differentiate that and equate it to 0. Okay. So d by d omega of angle GC of j omega equal to 0. Okay. So how can you differentiate this? D by d theta of tan inverse theta. What is that? That is nothing but 1 by 1 plus theta square. Okay. If you do this, you will get 1 by 1 plus omega square t square into t minus alpha t divided by 1 plus alpha square omega square t square equal to 0. Right? So from here you will get your omega or omega m corresponding value, maximum frequency at which the maximum phi m occurs, as omega m as 1 divided by t root alpha. Okay. So this is the frequency at which the maximum phase lag occurs. Omega m is 1 by t root alpha. Now, how can you find how much is the maximum? What's the value of the maximum phase lag? You just substitute it back. Okay. So again, angle GC of j omega is tan inverse omega t minus tan inverse alpha omega t. Okay. So maximum phase angle occurs at omega m. Omega m value we know 1 by t root alpha. Okay. So let that maximum phase angle, I'm calling that maximum phase angle as phi m. It is same. Okay. Phi m means angle GC of j omega m. That's the meaning. Angle GC of j omega m is what I call as phi m. Okay. So what will you get? Tan inverse omega mt minus tan inverse alpha omega mt. Omega m value we know it is 1 by t root alpha. Substitute. It means phi m equals. Okay, before substituting, you can just take tangent on both sides. Okay, so tan phi m will be what? This is of the form tan of a minus b. Tan a minus tan b by 1 plus tan a tan b. So you will get omega mt minus alpha omega mt divided by 1 plus alpha omega n square t square. Okay, so if you substitute for omega m here as 1 by t root alpha and do some manipulation, you will get tan phi m as 1 minus alpha divided by 2 root alpha. Okay, or what will be your maximum phi lag angle? Phi m will be tan inverse 1 minus alpha divided by 2 root alpha. Okay, now we consider right angle triangle. Suppose this angle is phi m. Okay, what is tan theta? Opposite side by adjacent side. So opposite side will be 1 minus alpha. Adjacent side will be 2 root alpha. So what will be hypotenuse? Root of adjacent side square plus opposite side square. You will get 1 plus alpha. So sin phi m will be 1 minus alpha by 1 plus alpha. Or if you know phi m, you can calculate alpha. What will be your alpha value? Alpha value will be 1 minus sin phi m divided by 1 plus sin m. Okay. So in this way, you can determine the compensator zero and pole location. Okay. Let us see what are the design steps involved. Lag compensator design. Okay. Design steps. Design steps. One, set the gain K. Set the gain K to the value. To the value that satisfies the steady state error specifications. The steady state error specifications. And hence plot the Bode plot. And hence plot the Bode plot for this K. For this gain K. Okay. So first we have to arrive at the value of gain K required from the given steady state error requirement. Right? Substitute that value of gain K into the open loop transfer function. Plot the Bode plot with the gain K that satisfies the given steady state error requirement. 2. Find the phase margin. Find the phase margin gamma d that yields the desired transient performance. desired transient performance. Okay. Now what next? So PM, the phase margin of the compensator system. Phase margin of the compensated system. Gamma D. That should be gamma N must be this gamma D plus some 10 degree. Why are we adding 10 degree here? Because our lag constant is not a perfect one. Okay. So to make up for the imperfections in the compensator, we are adding approximately 10 degree. Okay. So the phase margin of the compensator system must be gamma D plus 10 degree. Okay. 3. Determine the new gain crossover frequency. Determine the new gain crossover frequency. Okay. Determine the new gain crossover frequency omega GCN. Okay. Keep in mind, phase margin is evaluated at gain crossover frequency and gain margin is evaluated at phase crossover frequency. What is gain crossover frequency? Frequency at which the gain becomes equal to 1 or 0 decibels. What is phase crossover frequency? Frequency at which angle GG omega, the angle of the open loop transformation becomes equal to plus or minus 180. Okay. So phase margin is found at gain crossover frequency and gain margin is found at phase crossover frequency. Okay. So here we found what is the phase margin of the compensator system. So since that's the phase margin, you have to find what is the corresponding gain crossover frequency. How can you find that? Because we know phase margin is nothing but 180 plus angle GJ omega GC. Okay. So from here you can write gamma N equals what? 180 plus angle GJ omega GCN. Okay. Which means angle GJ omega GCN must be equal to what? Gamma N minus 180. From which omega GCN can be calculated. Are you following me what I'm saying? We will take up a numerical example, then it will be clear. What next? Now, after finding omega GCN, now we can place the compensator 0. Okay, so compensator 0 must be placed 1 decade below the gain crossover frequency. Okay, place the lag compensator 0. Place the lag compensator 0 ZC 1 decade at 1 decade below omega GCN. Okay, so once you have found the new gain crossover frequency, you place your lag compensator 0 1 decade below that. Okay, so that will give us the lag compensator 0 position. Right now, what next? We have to calculate where is our compensator pole. What is compensator pole? 1 by alpha t. So we have to determine the parameter alpha. Okay, so we have to determine the parameter alpha. Step 5. Determine the parameter alpha. Determine the parameter alpha. Okay. So what are we basically doing? We are bringing down. We are pulling down by adding a lag compensator. We are pulling down the Baudot magnitude plot downwards. Okay. So that we get omega GCN as the new gain crossover frequency. So at omega GCN, the Baudot magnitude plot must pass through the 0 dB line. Okay, that is what is gain crossover frequency. Frequency at which the dB gain becomes 0 dB, or 1. That is gain crossover frequency. Okay, so determine the parameter alpha of the compensator. Determine the parameter alpha of the compensator so that so that the magnitude curve, is brought down, to 0 dB at omega GC. Okay, this is omega GC. That's why it's called gain loss of frequency. Gain loss of frequency is frequency at which the dB gain becomes equal to 0 dB. Okay, so we have to pull down the border plot so that at omega GCN it crosses the 0 dB line. Okay, so that means mode GJ omega GCN in decibels must be equal to what? 20 log alpha. How do we get this from? Because you see at higher frequencies, right? What was the magnitude? It was minus 20 log alpha. That means the dB gain plot has to be pulled down by this much amount. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, so from here alpha can be determined, right? So once alpha is known, how can we find the compensator pole now? Place the compensator 0 now. Place the compensator 0. Sorry, pole. Place the compensator pole PC at PC equals ZC by alpha. Okay, ZC we have already placed, right? Or this means 1 by T alpha. Okay, so now we can find what is the transfer function. 7. Lag compensator transfer function. GC of S will be what? Will be 1 by alpha into 1 plus ST divided by 1 plus S alpha T. Okay, keep in mind, why I have added a 1 by alpha? I added a 1 by alpha because I wanted to have a unity DC gain. That's the only reason. Okay, if you don't put 1 by alpha here, there will be a DC gain of alpha, which is greater than 1. Okay, so this 1 by alpha will cancel with the alpha here, and the resultant compensator will have a unity DC gain. Okay, so 1 by alpha into 1 plus ST by 1 plus S alpha T, or 1 by alpha into S plus 1 by T divided by S plus 1 by alpha T. Okay, so these are the design steps involved. Fine. So now after designing this, we have to simulate it and see whether our designed lag compensator is meeting the given specifications or not. Done? Let's take up one numerical example. Question. Given the system shown below, okay, so this is the system given to you. This is GC of S, and our plan is like this. K divided by S into S plus 1 into 0.5 S plus 1. Okay, design a suitable compensator. Design a suitable compensator so that steady state error constant, KV is equal to 5. Phase margin must be greater than 40 degree, and gain margin must be greater than 10 dB. Okay, so it is mentioned design a suitable compensator, right? So how will you decide whether it is a lag or a lead compensator? We are asked to improve the steady state error constant. And I told you in the beginning, lag compensator will improve the steady state error or steady state performance. So it is evident that we are designing a lag compensator, right? Now, what was the first step? First step was what we have to set the gain K so that it satisfies the given steady state error requirement. Okay. So what's the steady state error requirement here? The constant must be equal to 5. Right. So step 1. Given KV must be equal to 5. What is KV? KV is nothing but limit S tends to 0, S into G of S. Okay. So that means 5 must be equal to limit S tends to 0, S into K divided by what? S into S plus 1 into 0.5 S plus 1. So this S and this S gets cancelled. So as S tends to 0, what will you get? You will get your K as 5. Okay. So this is 0, this is 0. So K equal to 5 you will get. Right? So what will be our transfer function now? Our planned transfer function, it will be 5 divided by S into S plus 1 into 0.5 S plus 1. Okay. Now we have to plot the Bode plot for this transfer function. Bode plot is plotted. For G of S equals 5 divided by S into S plus 1 into 0.5 S plus 1. Okay. Now this being a simple transfer function, if you want, you can calculate also. Okay. So what is our aim? What we have to find from this? We have to see what is the present phase margin, gain margin, things like that. How much should be the how much phase margin do we decide? Something like things like that. Okay. So if you want, you can calculate the phase margin, gain margin, omega GC, gain cos of frequency, and omega PC, phase cos of frequency, etc. Okay. Or you can also do a Bode plot. If you do the Bode plot, or if you do the calculation, you will see that phase margin of the uncompensated system is minus 13 degree, and gain margin of the uncompensated system is minus 4.44 dB. So right now, for this steady state error constant, the given closed loop system is unstable. Okay. Why? Because for system to be stable, both the gain margin and the phase margin has to be positive. But here both are negative. Okay. Hence, closed loop system is unstable. Hence, closed loop system is unstable. Okay. So now we have to design a lag compensator. Okay. Now, what's the next step? What's the next step? See, find the phase margin that yields the desired transient performance. Okay. But here in the question directly we are given, it should be a phase margin. The phase margin should be greater than 40 degree. Okay. So gamma D is greater than 40 degree. Given phase margin gamma D greater than 40 degree. Okay. So what should be gamma N? Gamma N must be gamma D plus 10, or it must be equal to 50 degree. Right? Now what next? So this must be the phase margin. So we have to find what is the corresponding gain crossover frequency, the new gain crossover frequency. Okay. So that is step 3. Now gamma N is what? 180 plus angle GJ omega GCN, the new gain crossover frequency. It means angle GJ omega GCN must be equal to what? Gamma N minus 180, or it will be minus 130 degree. Okay. So you can straight away calculate the angle from this omega GCN. How? What is angle GJ omega omega GCN? It will be minus 90. Sorry, it will be minus omega. Sorry. It will be minus 90. Okay, minus tan inverse omega GCN minus tan inverse 0.25 omega GCN equals minus 130 degree. You can take this minus 130 degree to the left side and take these tangent terms, both the tangent terms to the right side. Apply tan of A plus B thing. Tan A plus tan B by 1 minus tan A tan B. If you do that, you will get your new gain crossover frequency omega GCN as 0.4916 radians per second. Okay, 0.4916 radians per second. Fine. Now, what's the next step? Step 4. Place the lag compensator 0 at 1 decade below the omega GCN. Okay, so step 4. Omega compensator 0. Compensator 0. ZC must be 1 decade behind. That means 1/10 of 0.4916, which means 0.04916. This will be the lag compensator 0 position. Right? Now what next? We have to calculate by what value, what is the parameter alpha by which the dB gain plot must be pulled down so that what the magnitude curve is brought down to 0 dB. Okay, so how will you find that? 20 log alpha. Okay, mod GJ omega GCN in dB must be equal to 20 log alpha. Okay, how will you find mod GJ omega GCN? Transfer is given, right? So mod, this means what? 5 by, so 20 log in decibels gain means 20 log 5 by omega GCN into root of 1 plus omega GCN square into root of 1 plus 0.25 omega GCN square. GCN we have already found 0.4916. You can substitute that. That must be equal to what? 20 log alpha. If you solve this, you will get your alpha as 8.8637. Okay, 8.8637. What next? Compensator pole. Compensator pole. PC. What is PC? ZC by alpha. Okay, ZC value we know 0.04916. Alpha value we just found 8.8637. So if you substitute that, you will get PC as 0.0055. Okay, so we have found the compensator pole, we have found the compensator 0. So what will be the lag compensator transfer function? Lag compensator transfer function GC of S. So keep in mind, if you simply put S plus ZC by S plus PC, you will have a non-unity DC gain. Okay, so I prefer to have a unity gain, DC gain always. So I have to pre-multiply that with 1 by alpha. Okay, so I can write this as 1 by alpha into S plus ZC divided by S plus PC. So what will be that? 1 divided by 8.8637 into S plus, what was ZC? ZC was 0.04916. S plus 0.04916 divided by S plus 0.0055. Okay, so this will be the designed lag compensator. I will substitute that here in GC of S. So this is a GC of S, right? So where is our given configuration? Given configuration is somewhere here. This, okay. Instead of GC of S, you substitute that particular transfer function, which we just now found, 1 by 8.8637. Okay. So with this compensator, the lag compensated closed loop system will have indoor performance. Okay. So steady state, the closed loop system will be stable. Okay. I will show you the MATLAB plot. Okay. That's the lag compensator with the above designed lag compensator. With the above designed lag compensator, you can see that the closed loop system will be stable. Okay, you have to plot the border plot and see, then only you will understand. With this thing, closed loop system is stable. Closed loop system is stable. Okay, then if you measure the gain margin will be 13.9 decibels, which is greater than 10 dB. That is a requirement. Okay, that was one requirement. And how much is phase margin? Phase margin will be 44.8 degree, which is greater than 40 degree. That was another requirement. Okay, see the question. Design a suitable compensator so that phase margin is greater than 40 and gain margin is greater than 10 dB, which we have met. Closed loop system is stable, gain margin is 13.9, which is greater than 10 dB, and phase margin is also equal to 44.8 degree, which is greater than 40. Okay. So thus, the lag compensator has stabilized the original unstable closed loop system. It has improved the steady state error while improving the phase margin. And you can see that at high frequencies, the gain has been brought down. It has been decreased. What's the issue? If gain is high at the high frequency region, noise can come into picture. Okay. So to minimize the effect of noise, the gain at higher frequency ranges must be kept as low as possible. Okay. So I will show you the MATLAB plot of this particular problem. Okay. This is the MATLAB plot. Okay, so you can see here 3 colored plots. The blue one is the open loop plant. Open loop plant means with K designed for the given steady state error requirement, 5 divided by S into S plus 1 into 0.5 S plus 1. Okay, so from MATLAB you can see that the blue one, okay, the blue one is the given uncompensated system. Okay, so what we have done, we have only designed K for the given steady state error constant. We found K was 5. Okay, so I have plotted the Borel plot for 5 divided by S into S plus 1 into 0.5 S plus 1. Okay, that is given in the blue color. Upper one is the magnitude plot. The bottom one is the phase angle plot. All are in decibels. You can see on the right, on the left side, magnitude in decibel scale. Okay, this is frequency. Okay, so what is the gain margin? Gain margin is minus 4.44. And at what frequency? That is the phase crossover frequency. So phase crossover frequency happens to be minus 1.414. Okay. Now, what is the phase margin here? Phase margin is minus 13 degree, and that is found at gain crossover frequency. Gain crossover frequency means frequency at which dB gain becomes equal to 0. So this is 0 dB line. Okay. So from there you drop a vertical line down to the phase angle plot. You can measure how much is the phase margin. It is minus 13 degree. Since gain margin dB is negative and phase margin degree is negative, the closed loop system is unstable. Right? Now you can see a black color one, magnitude as well as phase angle. That is the designed lag compensator. So we have done that 1 by 8.86 blah blah into S plus 0.04916 divided by S plus 0.0055. Okay. The Borel plot for the lag compensator is given in black color. You can see up to the lower corner frequency it is 0 dB. Then onwards it is a straight line minus 20 dB per decade, and then onwards it will be a line at minus 20 log alpha. You can see it is a line parallel to the horizontal line. Okay, so this difference is minus 20 log alpha value. Okay, and this is the phase angle plot. So at some particular frequency, the phase lag is negative maximum and that frequency is omega m, which is nothing but the geometric mean of the lower corner frequency and upper corner frequency. Okay. Now, when you combine, when you introduce this particular lag compensator in the controller part and put the system in the closed loop, okay, you will get a response corresponding to the red color line. Okay, so red color line is the lag compensated system. Okay, so you can see the closed loop system is stable with the gain margin of 13.9 degree, which is positive, and phase margin of plus 44.8 degree, which is again positive. So the closed loop lag compensated system is stable. This is how we design a lag compensator. So what's the takeaway from this? A lag compensator will improve the static error constant. How? By increasing only the low frequency gain. Okay, by increasing only the low frequency gain, as we have seen, right? And it increases the phase margin of the system to yield the desired function response. So since the gain is so omega GC is, it has been pulled down. You can see here the original omega GC for the blue curve, omega GC was 1.37, and sorry, for the blue curve, omega GC means here omega GC was 1.8, right? And now for the compensator system, omega GC is now 0.494. So omega GC has been lowered. That means bandwidth of the system is also reduced. Okay, so in this way you can design a lag compensator. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you.